regarding the arrest and detention and trial of Omoyele Sowore, the political activist. What was the motivation for the writing of that letter?
I had met Mr. Sowore when he came to Canada a few years back, before the election when he was running for government, when he was running for president. I had met him and I had a conversation with him. I was very impressed with his knowledge, not only of Nigeria and with the possibilities of moving forward things in Nigeria, but also with Canada. In Canada, we have a large Nigerian diaspora. We have active NIDO members. I've been involved with the Nigerian diaspora for close to 15, 20 years. I was asked by some of them, and I was made aware of what happened to Mr. Omoyele Sowore, and I took upon myself to write a letter and basically ask the president in order for not to postpone the bail hearing and to go through with it, and also to give the opportunity for not to have a negative light shine in Nigeria with what's happening with the political activists. I mean, you go back and you read in history, you've got U.S. lawmakers time after time speaking about the same situation.
Mr. Karajianis, sorry to interrupt you. We need to go a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back to you.
Throughout the world have been writing the president of Nigeria, asking him to and cautioning him on what is happening. I mean, you had Robert Menendez, United States Senator, which I've met in the past and I've got a lot of admiration for, and you had Josh Gotmer, a member of Congress, and in reading what is happening right now in the last couple of days, I mean, you look at the Council of Foreign Relations. You look at the Voice of America that says Nigerian activists demand release of publisher of former presidential. You look at the agency French, the French AFP, Agence Française Presse, and the whole thing just it's mind-boggling. I mean, this man, okay, he protested, he was arrested, bail him, give him the opportunity to have a bail. It looks like there's a witch hunt against him for the last number of years. The man ran. He ran for president. He didn't do exceptionally well. But what is the threat to the president? I mean, what's the threat that he has a witch hunt against him? I mean, this is where I am perplexed. I mean, I don't think he throws a big threat against Mr. Buhari unless Mr. Buhari is afraid of what Mr. Sowore is saying. I mean, protest is one thing. Peaceful protest, however, it should not be put aside. Should not be hindered. What happened, Mr. Sowore, is not anything like happened in the United States.
Mr. Karajianis, beyond your personal encounter with Omoyele Sowore, which you have highlighted, you said you met him. You've met him before in the past. Why are you so particular about his case? Why are you interested in this case? The Nigerian government says his actions are tantamount to regime overthrow.
Well, come on. I mean, there's no regime overthrow here. I mean, the man had a peaceful protest. I mean, you look at the international headlines, and there's nothing there that has anything that smells overthrow. I mean, Mr. Buhari knows about overthrow. Let's cut the spade a spade. He had overthrown a elected government back in the 1980s. I mean, Canada did not have any foreign relations with Nigeria for many, many years because of Mr. Buhari. Now, of course, he's reelected. God bless him. The country has spoken. But at the same time, when somebody's protesting, you do not. I repeat, you do not have so many international incidents where lawmakers of different countries can sit up and speak. I mean, this is not just only myself. There's other people in the United States. They're expressed throughout the world saying the same thing.
All right, Mr. Karajianis, are you going to take this to the floor of the Canadian Parliament at some point? Because there have been matters concerning Nigeria taken to the floor of the Canadian Parliament recently. So are you going to take this to the floor of the Canadian Parliament?
I've written to former colleagues. Please understand, I'm not a parliamentarian. I have retired from federal politics. I've written to the Prime Minister, I've written to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, I've written to all my colleagues, former colleagues, and I've asked them to take a look at it. I will continue working with the diaspora in Canada in order to make sure that democracy is represented not only in Canada. I mean, we all have our problems throughout the world about democracy, but in Nigeria, because Nigeria is one of the biggest countries in Africa, and it's the gateway to Africa. I mean, people that want to do business in Africa look at Nigeria as step number one. I mean, I was looking at the advertisement that you had about the bank. Those are things that we have to be inspired in order to do business. And look at what is happening through their reports. That's not aspiration. I believe that Nigeria is a country that is bullish. Nigeria is a country where people can make investment in. And looking at things like what is happening with peaceful protesters being arrested and put in jail, one shakes their head and says, do I want to go invest in Nigeria? And unfortunately, I'm a great believer of doing business in Africa. I'm a great believer in Nigeria, and that's one of the reasons that I'm working with the international community and the diaspora in Canada, Nigerian diaspora, in order to promote business in Nigeria. However, you cannot afford things like this to blemish what people are inspiring and what people are wanting to do.
Well, in your view, is the international community doing enough to engage the Nigerian government on this particular matter and to hold the Nigerian government accountable?
I believe that not only the Nigerian, it behooves the Nigerian diaspora throughout the world to make sure that they engage their lawmakers, not only in the United States and Canada, but in other parts of the world. I mean, there's Nigerians throughout the world. There's Nigerians in my home country of Greece that they have to get engaged, and they have to make sure that they say to the president of Nigeria, look, what you're doing here, you're putting a blemish on Nigeria. What you're doing here will certainly drive businesses away. And as you're recovering from COVID, I think you need a lot of foreign investment, and you need people in order to be engaged. So engagement, number one, by the diaspora with the international community is important, and the international community has to engage with the diaspora in order to shine the light and to tell the president of Nigeria, Mr. Buhari, that what he's doing is certainly something which is questionable.
Right, Mr. Kerjans, I just want to quickly pass this by you. Then, have you been in contact with Mr. Sowore'S family or something since this recent arrest? And I also want to ask you, there's been a lot of talk back as regards even Nigeria and the West teaching us about democracy, owing to what happened in America at the Capitol recently. What's your take on that? So a lot of Nigerians are saying, who is the West to teach us democracy when you see what happened in Capitol in America?
Nobody's trying to teach anybody democracy, but let's look at the word democracy. Democracy comes from two Greek words, demos and kratos, which means, demos means people and kratos is country. And as the birthplace, my birthplace of Athens, Greece, 2,500 years ago, they were practicing democracy. Of course, we fell back in the 1960s, we had dictatorship, as you had in the 80s. So nobody can tell another country about democracy. Democracy is practiced on its own thing, and this is not something that the Western countries are looking to come into Nigeria. And please don't think that I'm part of that to say that you don't practice democracy correctly. You have a democratic system, you follow through, but when you see things like this, it discourages the international community about making investments. And when I have come to Nigeria a number of times, and one of them, I was there with the trade mission, or led the trade mission in order to do business in Nigeria and encourage Canadian investment in Nigeria. Well, when I see this, and I got people calling and say, hey, what is happening there? That's my real concern. My real concern is that if you want to attract investment, you have to make sure that you've got a country which is secure, a country that abides by the law, and if somebody comes in, then they're secure, and they're not afraid to make investments.
All right, actually, have you been in contact with his family, his wife?
I have not been in contact with his family, but I've been in contact with Canadian diaspora activists that have been in contact with his family.
Well, I mean, it's good to talk about international interest in what goes on in Nigeria. But at the end of the day, isn't the international community more interested in economic matters than whatever other considerations they may articulate in the public domain? Economic interest, investment, which you talked about twice.
If you do not have stability, and if you do not have a climate that attracts international investment, people are scared to do it. And when you have headlines in the United States, Voice of America, when you have headlines in France that scream, they just scream and say Nigerian arrest journalist as opposition to Sowore'S. The other one, Nigerian activist demand release of publisher, former presidential aspiring Sowore'S. These are Voice of America. These are French press. Those are things that scream. And when you look at the international community looks at that, and investors look at it, in the boardrooms where decisions are being made in order to make investments, people are scared.
Well,
I wouldn't mind.
Go ahead.
I am an individual that wants to promote a trade with the international community. I believe in Africa. I believe that Nigeria is certainly the gateway to Africa. And reading this, sometimes it deters people and it scares people from wanting to make an investment. So for the sake of bringing investment in Nigeria, for the sake of saying, look, we're a democratic country, things like the ones that we were just seeing in a couple of minutes in the press should not be happening.
Well, Mr. Karagiani, surely you believe in democracy and the rule of law. But in the course of this conversation, you have mentioned and put the blame on the president of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari. Do you not believe in the court processes in the land?
Look, I certainly, the democracy is a great thing. Politicians from time to time get accused of things. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. But when you read the international press, it's very important. I understand. I've just been advised that Mr. Sowore'S has been given bail, and maybe the international diaspora and the pressure that they have put on the government of Mr. Buhari has reacted in that fashion. And for that, you know what? I'm very pleased. And I want to thank the diaspora for bringing this matter to us. I want to thank the diaspora for being engaged, and I want to thank the international community for standing up for somebody that wants to have an opportunity to speak against the government. And, protests that are peaceful protests is something that we welcome. I mean, we have it in this country on a daily basis.
Right. I mean, from what you said, that it is a good, but anyway, we've not made that confirmation here that has been given bail. That shows you that, wow, things can change, in a split second. And you were just talking about not granting him bail earlier on, and voila, now he's got bail. So, democracy prevails in Nigeria, isn't it, my friend?
I truly didn't live in Nigeria. I'm truly looking forward when COVID is over to return with a trade mission to be there to make sure that investments happen. And I truly, you can include me on the fans of Nigeria as a cheerleader of Nigeria. But I want to avoid reading these headlines. I desperately do not want to, when I speak about Nigeria, when I speak about Africa, and people turn around and they throw this at me, those are the things that I'm not interested in reading. I'm not interested in looking. And, understanding that bail has been granted to Mr. Sowore'S, that's, it's a step in the right direction, and he will have his day in court.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Jim Karagiani, for joining us today on the morning show. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. God bless. And do me a favor. Just pray for a little bit of sunshine like you got over there for us to have over here. We're -5, and you guys are about over 30 right now.
I wish we could export sunshine.
You just might be able to do that. Good day to everybody, and thank you for.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.